Hello everyone and welcome to another TalkShop TV from myself and Vitto.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry it's been a while until we've had an edition. Obviously, you know, we've all been very busy since our last update, which was during the summer. We were heading into, we were back then, we were talking about organising getting back to school and ramping up services, and then here we now again find ourselves in another lockdown situation. So we thought now was a good time to explain a bit about what the company is doing to prepare ourselves during lockdown, and indeed more importantly what we're doing to get ourselves ready as we move out of that situation. I think pleasingly, I think lots of what I'm going to say is I'd like to think is reassuring to you all as individuals and for us as an organisation as well. And so we've got a few topics to run through. We're going to talk to you a bit about what service levels we're doing at the moment and the impact on those of you who are being asked to shield. We're going to talk a bit about the Your Voice survey. I'm going to mention a bit about government support at the moment and what we're expecting will happen in the future. Vitto's going to give us an update on engineering, what's happening there. We're going to talk a bit about new buses and how that comes out of the transformation of engineering, how that all feeds together. Some service developments and some good news with a contract award at Rosso. The investment we're making in properties, and some detail on our latest, newest programme of making sure we're rewarding and thanking you for the work that you're doing. So firstly, obviously, we went to lockdown yesterday, Thursday the 5th of November, and at the moment, as we mentioned, as we communicated our plans for lockdown, we're running a similar service to what we have been doing since September, since the schools returned. That is something that is asked of us from the government, a condition of the grant that we received, the CBSSG grant, which is something that is creating the filling point in terms of the shortfall in revenue that we're not getting from our customers at the moment because of the few people travelling. The government is supporting us with a grant to ensure that we can carry on functioning as normal. We're happy to carry on running that level of service in order to make sure we meet the conditions of that grant. But obviously, what's a bit more difficult this time around is obviously the number of cases of COVID inside and around the business is higher than what it was previously when we entered into the lockdown firstly. And also what is expected of those of you who need to shield, in particular those who have been classed as clinically extremely vulnerable, is the lovely term been given. There's a few things we're going to do in response to that, and most notably we're looking at whether we need to reduce services, and that's very much being reviewed locally as to what's possible. And it's worthwhile Vitto just going through what we'd like to do to make sure we're aware of what we need to do to carry on looking after you and our reaction in terms of that, in terms of what services we're going to be operating.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so a few of our colleagues are classed as clinically extremely vulnerable, and there's at the moment there seems to be sort of two approaches from the NHS to our colleagues. So one would be you receive a text and it would ask you to shield and go into isolation, and then more formally some colleagues have been written to this week, get a letter in the post again asking you to shield until the end of lockdown. I think at the moment, obviously, the government's announced a furlough scheme again, and that is really to support, in our setting at least, the clinically extremely vulnerable category. So if you do get a letter or a text, nip in to see your local manager, detailer, show them the letter, and then we'll look at what we can do for you in that way. And again, I think, you know, this week we've had a couple come in, so those people have been straight onto furlough. But, you know, we'll work with you as soon as you can. It's slightly different. I think there's not been a blanket shield request, so it's not everybody. There is quite you know, an acute category of colleagues that, you know, are going to get this letter. So again, as soon as you get it, go and see us and we'll sort something out.
Great stuff. Yeah, and I think that the key thing is that, you know, communicate to us, and then we can do our best to help you and look after you while you're away, and it's all about keeping you safe and then making sure that we enable you to have an income whilst you're away from work. So yeah, thank you for that. On a similar theme of talking and listening and working together, our Your Voice survey, which we've been doing throughout much of the past sort of 3, 4, 5 months. We've now got the results. We've started to we've had about 7 focus groups amongst our various managers, support team, and us as directors, in terms of going through the results and creating a first set of actions. Those results will appear in Talk magazine, which is due out next week, so you'll be able to have a good look through that yourself. I think, as we've mentioned before, we've been quite reassured by a lot of the things that you're saying, and I think some of the constructive comments that we've received, I think that will enable us to make improvements, I don't think are surprising, and again, I think reassuring that you're thinking similar to what we're thinking. But the key thing about the Your Voice survey, as we said when we launched it, it was about action and about what do we do about what you say, rather than just creating a report and it sitting on the shelf. It's all about what we do next and what we create, how we create improvements. So, as I say, we've already had 7 focus groups across the business. We're now going to do more focus groups inside the depots and the various departments that you're all working in. So we really get down to the grassroots level of the business and where the true action is, in terms of those of you who are either down the pits fixing buses, or those of you who are serving our customers, and where the service delivery is taking place, so we can understand the things that we can do to really enable a better workplace and a better company for us all. So look out for that at your local depots and in all your locations. And once you've had a look at the survey results, please do continue the conversation with us. If you've got any more feedback, please get in touch. As I say, it's all about what we do with those results and how we create improvements. That's the theme of Your Voice and where that takes us. I mentioned at the start about the services that we're going to be running at the moment. We have still got the government support mechanism, the CBSSG grant into the business. This is likely to stay in place for quite some time. Indeed, the kind of funding that is being put into the deregulated UK bus industry is small compared to the amounts you will have heard on national news that's going into rail and Transport for London. I think so far as an industry we've done a really good job in providing the bus network that our customers need, and certainly by working together with local and national government, that seems to be working well. The feedback has all been good, and I think we've all done a good job in creating the best network we can for everybody. That funding is likely to remain in place for as long as we need it, is the words that have been used. And now myself and other leaders in the bus industry and sort of the bigger groups, we're working together with CPT and with central government to try and design what we think should come next after CBSSG. We want to return to commerciality. I think the government and local authorities generally want us to see us return to commerciality and how we operated before March. We're trying to create a partnership regime that enables that, so we're truly working together with local authorities and creating a network that they want to see, and a network that we can run effectively and efficiently as we can. And so it's about at what point do we come away from the grant and move into a partnership scheme, and then at what point do we hopefully return to the kind of numbers travelling on buses and the kind of business model that we were running before the pandemic hit. So I say all that in reassurance, the talks are all productive and positive. The situation that we've got now is not a threat dangling over us that's going to disappear. So we can all feel reassured that buses are still needed. The kind of network provision that we're in now is still likely to be needed for quite some time, and so we're all needed to provide that. And so we can say be assured that that's what's expected of us as we go on for quite some time. Saying that, we're still making sure that we're carrying on to invest, and we're and being smarter inside the business, so we're functioning as best we can. So our thirst for innovating and getting better, you know, we still want to do that. We're not just wanting to be fat and lazy and relying on subsidy. That's not our style. And I think in that vein, Vitto's can update us what's happening with engineering and power up.
Yeah, absolutely. So Alan Latimer's joined us in the last few weeks as fleet engineer. So he's here to support Luke Stevenson in our sort of engineering change really project. So Alan's come from Cummins and most recently Stagecoach in Aberdeen. So he's got experience on both sort of supplier side and in sort of bus ops. And he'll be working out amongst the patch, going to see all the EMs and giving support and his knowledge and help across there. So in regards to Fleetwave, we're on track with rolling that out next month. It's quite an exciting project for us, so it's a full digitisation of the workshops. So I think we covered it before, but we'll basically be moving on to digital inspections, MOTs, service schedules. The engineers will be able to book in and out of jobs and using their tablets, and you know, we'll have a better overview, I guess, of the whole system. So we've got a bespoke product for us, which we're in a test phase at the moment, but will be rolled out very soon. To coincide with sort of digitisation of the workshops, we've had to invest in some other tools to help us be better. So we've looked at how we diagnose our vehicles and what we actually need to do our job better and more efficiently. So next week we're having some new diagnostic equipment in Rochdale, Burnley and Harrogate. I think it's been needed for a while, so it'd be good to have, and we're going to look at a full training program so our engineers know, you know, how to use the new kit, and you know, we should be looking, you know, a lot of these electrical issues that we should get to the bottom of them much quicker. So that's all ongoing. We're looking at other tools in the workshops to make it better for us, make it, you know, so it's all quite an exciting time really for engineering.
Yeah, no, I think it's all quite positive. I think it's all about as well working smarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think these new the new systems we're introducing should do that. I think they've been warmly received, and I think it's working together to make sure it again works as we want it to, and supporting you through that. So yeah, that's good. Obviously, part of engineering change, particularly some of the depots, most notably Burnley and York, will be aided further with introduction of new fleet. So the new fleet Whichway buses will be with us before December. We'll enter service in December. Similar for CityZap in York. So 19 new Viro 400 double decks that we've begun the sign-off process of, and they're looking really spectacular. I think Iceland Airways have done a good job for us. These are the first double deck buses they've built for Transdev Blazefield in quite some time. And I think, you know, I think those of you who get to work with them, and all of you who can go and ride on them, should be impressed. This was part of our investment that was committed pre-pandemic, but will enable us to reap the benefits of that as we move forward, and as we as the business recovers. So I think there's going to be quite a bit of training that we're going to enable on that as well. So yeah, again, we're using them to the best of our advantage.
Yeah, so there's full training days for the engineers, so you know we'll get to know them inside and out, and then obviously we'll be giving all the driving teams a chance to familiarise themselves and use them, and hopefully everyone's impressed.
We can both fit in the cab comfortably, not together. We didn't try that, but yeah, I'm sure you'll all find them nice, comfy buses to drive as well, and as well as to ride on as well. And hopefully, I think really good feedback in terms of how easy they are to work on and access and
Absolutely.
so on. Similar to the good feedback we had on the Enviro 200s that are already in Blackburn. So again, that's a positive development that we'll see before the end of the year. Also in vehicles as well, we begin to trial other electric buses in Harrogate. You'll all know we've got our Pioneer Volvo electrics here, based on the pantograph opportunity charged method of propulsion over in Harrogate. We've demonstrated the Alexander Dennis Enviro 200 EV solution for a week along Knaresborough Road. That will be coming back so we can test that on other routes, both here and also on the shuttle in Keighley as well. We're also going to be trialling a Chinese-built Yutong vehicle in Harrogate too, and we're just again trying to understand the various types of technology available and how that compares with the Volvo pantograph vehicles we've already got. But again, this is all about what we're doing next and ensuring we've got our eye on the future, and we're ready to understand the new types of technology available. So you'll see those trials taking place. Some will take place before the end of this year as well. So you'll see that in Harrogate and Keighley. From a service development point of view, there's been obviously quite little service developments in the network at the moment due to the situation we're in. We introduced a new 784 route between Skipton, Ilkley and Otley, based at our new Idle depot, which was as a result of first withdrawing from that area. So a great opportunity for us to build on something there, and again really added to the success that we've already seen with the fly service of Dale. Seen some really good growth so far in that, so that's been a great addition to our Transdev world here. And then we got some good positive reassuring news over in Lancashire with the award of a multi-year contract for the Rosendale network, which will be reissued for January, and that will see an investment in newer vehicles that will be based at Burnley, running the contract network, serving Rawtenstall Baker over to Todmorden and up to Burnley. So some real positive news there, and a real longer due overhaul of the fleet needed on those services there, and that will create a real great product in that area. We've also already got the refurbished buses on Airwell line, which have been doing well. The 464 had its new buses, and then we're going to see the new buses on which way, and alongside this contract award we'll have a real solid network offer there, which is great news for us. And then in terms of investment, we mentioned investment in vehicles, investment in what we're doing engineering, but also you will hopefully notice the investment in facilities and the areas that we work in. Do you want to give us an update as to where we are on all that?
Yeah, sure. So we started originally in Malton earlier on this year, so Malton's now complete. We've resurfaced the bus station, filled some of the sort of the issues out in the yard. We've also refurbed the toilets and canteen and done some structural work to the building, so I think that's all complete now. Moving over to Harrogate, we've refurbished the whole of Starbeck, so pretty much the offices upstairs, and then the driver areas downstairs will be coming online next week. So that's new driving areas, toilets, brand new academy, a medical room, so that'll be good. We're also doing the engineering canteen at Harrogate, and later on this year we're hoping that Station Parade will come back online after the fire last year. Over in Burnley, we've done the commercial offices. There's a new academy, so the training rooms all been revamped with tea point and kitchen. We've done the drivers areas, the toilets, and also the engineering facilities. So they're all complete now. Blackburn, we're just about to start on some work in the yard. The engineering changing rooms will be done this year, and a few other bits and bobs that the team have requested. Rochdale, we're just going to go through with sorting the yard out for the winter, so that's going to be in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do a full scrape back on that level and make it safe whilst we still look for new properties and opportunities over there. Over in Idle, we've just put a new canteen into the garage, so there's a self-contained unit has just gone in, so now colleagues have somewhere to relax and have their dinner. We're also just about to finalise the lease on a unit in Bradford Interchange for colleagues on fly, so they can have the break inside. That's about it. What else have we done? Oh, we've got the canteen in Accrington, so that should be coming online in 2 weeks. New canteen. that's just getting some refurbishment, new flooring going in, so that will be pretty soon.
Yeah, and also just worthwhile mentioning Keithley, obviously our colleagues in finance and payroll, those are moving to here, which is why we've created more space over here. I think it's important that we get everybody working together better. That will, I think, in turn improve the overall service that everybody receives by our central Blazefield colleagues all being in the same place. So we've created more space here for that. And that in turn means there'll be more space available in Keighley, so we'll be able to spread ourselves around a bit more in Cavendish House and at Mariner Road, and give a bigger academy over there as well for you to do your training in, and the ability just for everyone to have more space, which is of course what we all need to be doing at the moment. And then also over in York, where we should be able to keep the depot while we find somewhere else. I think that is a commitment that's now been made. So those of you in York, don't feel too left out. The aim is there still to remain to move into somewhere else once we find it, and until we do that, we're staying put where we are.
Yeah, and I think for next year we're just looking at what we're going to do. So as Alex said, Keith is on the agenda. We've already had architects in, designers to look at the facilities there. So that's moving forward. We'll be hopefully started in the new year. But I guess if you see anything, speak to your managers. We're just looking at the plan for next year. So we've got lots of little things we're doing now. Deepening pits, fixing bus stations. If there is an issue or you think we need to look at something, feed that back to us or drop us an email and we can add that to the plan.
And I think in all of what we're saying, we set out with quite a bold investment plan this year, and what we've been very keen to do is it isn't just in buses. Obviously that's important, the customer offer is important, but I think we've been very keen to make sure we also spread the investment into the facilities and how we work. If we all work better, that makes our working lives easier and smarter, but then we'd like to think as well that also means that we end up delivering a better service because we're all happy in our jobs. And I think by doing what we're doing in terms of investing not just in buses but also in engineering and the function of engineering and the facilities that we work in, and I think we set out with our bold plan, and I think everybody who's been involved in it has done spectacularly well in delivering that, particularly in the conditions that we've all been working in this year. So yeah, hopefully when those benefits reach you wherever you are in the business, and I'm pretty confident wherever you are in the business you will get to experience the benefits of some or all of that. Hopefully that'll all be seen as a positive step. Okay, I think just a positive note to end on. Obviously, at this time of year we're normally getting ready to prepare for our Amazing Awards in January. Always a highlight of the year. Those of you who've been, we know those of you who've been in previous years have all enjoyed it. It's always great being with colleagues and their families on a relaxed evening away from work. And rewarding those of you who've gone the extra mile for the business, for the customers, for each other often. Unfortunately, in the times we're in, we're unable to hold the Amazing Awards this year. But what we're going to do instead is something quite different, quite special. We're calling the TransDev 2020 Honours. We've heard of tons of stories of some of the great things that the people have done this year. Where often, it's been a difficult year, just getting through all that the year has thrown at us. But still within that, at work and outside of work, so many colleagues have done some pretty special things that we think shouldn't go without further recognition. So the TransDev 2020 Honours will recognise that. There will be some nominations made by your managers in order to create some prizes and shortlists and stuff, and making sure we highlight all the great things that have been happening. Also, more importantly, there'll be an opportunity for you to nominate each other and for you to nominate those people who you work with who've done something special to make life better, make work better for you. So do please nominate. We really want this to be a serious and authentic way of recognising those who deserve it. We'll be asking our customers to get involved and for them to nominate colleagues who've done good things for them over the past year, And we also think, as a nice touch, us as the company, we want to recognise organisations or people outside of Transdev and outside of the business who've done great things in our community as well, and we want your help in identifying those people or organisations as well. So look out for the for more communications on that. The Transdev 2020 Honours, look out for the forms in your depots. Do get involved. Really want to be a special thing. We want to reward and highlight, deserving people, and I'm sure by working together we can do that. I think that will be we really want to end the year in a positive way as which we can. Whether we're in lockdown, whether we have Christmas or what, we'll make sure we try and do our bit to spread a bit of positivity and appreciation. So on that note, it's a huge thank you to all of you out there, again doing fantastic things, not just for us but for each other and for our customers, and thank you to your families who are supporting you. Those of you who we know those of you need support, where we are to help. We know lockdown brings a degree of anxiety and stress, but hopefully when you come to work, we're not creating that for you, and if you need that support, you know where we are to help. So yeah, remain grateful to all of you out there, and if you need us, you know where we are. Thank you. Cheers.